You see that unit total up there? 33,045 units. This is by far the highest number of units that I've ever had at any one given point in time in my 5+ years of playing this game. And it made me wonder, where have all my units gone? I mean, that's a big number, but over the years, I must have collected hundreds of thousands of these things. So what did I spend them all on, man? And it's impossible to track that kind of data. I mean, I'm sure Kabam can do it. I'm sure they have that kind of data. I would love to see it, actually. But, you know, as a player, like, how do you keep track of that stuff? From all the little purchases like energy refills, revives, swapping masteries around, especially for placing ward defenders, which I've done, you know, hundreds of times at this point, to the larger purchases like the 4th of July sales and cyber weekends and all that stuff. Like, what have I spent all my units on? And I don't know if I'll ever be able to figure it out. We can maybe get some decent estimates with quite a bit of work put into it. But today I just want to look at one area in particular. I want to figure out how many units it took to unlock all of the masteries that I use. Not the swap cost, not the little unit numbers that it costs to actually put the mastery points in. I'm talking about the Stony Mastery, Carbonated Mastery, and the Class Mastery cores. How many units have I spent on each one of those? And the thing is about my account here, guys, is from the start, one of my goals was to unlock every single mastery in the entire game. This way I was never held back by, you know, just needing units to unlock masteries to use. And I didn't unlock them all right away. You know, they took time to do. Some of them I hardly ever use, but it's fun to unlock them still. And I want to figure out how much I've spent on these. So, of course, I made a spreadsheet. And you can see here, I divided it into the different mastery trees. So we have offensive here, we've got defensive, we've got the proficiencies, and basically I just have the name of the mastery, the actual cores to unlock the masteries, and then the unit cost. And this is a unit cost without discounts, without any kind of special offers or anything like that. This is just, if you went to the store today, how many units would you actually have to spend to get these cores? Now, some of these cores did come through special events, but those events were so rare that I didn't bother going back to see, you know, how many cores I got from them, because most of these I did just pay the full unit price for. Also, one other thing to note here is taking a look at like Deep Wounds, for example. I just put down the total cost. If you are curious to know like the individual rank cost for these masteries, then you can go to AntMay and just click on whatever mastery you want. You can see they have each rank here, and then it shows the total to unlock the masteries. And then it'll even keep track of like the total cost up here as well, if you're curious about something like that. But I just wanted to put all this down just in like one nice, easy to see spreadsheet here, just to know how many units I've spent on these masteries. So there are a few that I haven't fully unlocked, by the way, which we'll get to, but this is all the info for all the masteries. You can see here that the most expensive ones, they're actually the class-based masteries. Each tree has 2 different class masteries in them. Most of them don't get used. Mystic Dispersion is the mastery that gets used by far the most. And then you can argue that occasionally Collar Tech and Serum Science get used, but for the most part, it's Mystic Dispersion. And the thing about these masteries is they're not that expensive to get a few points in them, but each rank actually doubles in cost. So 5, 10, 20, 40, and then 80 for the final rank. And oh, that hurts, guys. At 30 units a pop, whew, that is expensive. You could also get these with loyalty. But I didn't spend loyalty on these mastery cores, if I remember correctly. I think I spent units on pretty much all of them. I actually traded them in the gifting events each year until I had them all unlocked, which you had to spend units on. But in any case, let's go back to the spreadsheet. So those are the most expensive, the class-based masteries. Next are the masteries in the offensive tree that they're in the bottom right corner. And you know, there's one mastery in particular I want to look at today, which is Unfazed. And the reason I want to look at it is because I spent 4,100 units unlocking all 5 ranks of this mastery, and it's a mastery that has largely been forgotten about. Most people probably don't even know what it does. So I'm just going to read the description real quick. It says, when an enemy evades, your champions have a chance to stack a crit damage rating effect for their next critical hit, and also become unstoppable for a second. And it goes up, you know, for each point that you have in it, the chance for these, you know, for the crit damage rating and the unstoppable, they go up, and the amount of crit damage rating you get also goes up. Now, this mastery, you could tell how outdated it is by looking at the total amount of crit damage rating. Today, like, that's a laughable amount. That is next to nothing. Corvus literally gains 3,000 crit damage rating for each mission that he completes. So yeah, we're talking about, you know, like 12, 13,000 by the time you get all 4 of his charges. And this, for 4,100 units, the final rank, 5 mastery points, you gain 450, and it's just a chance when the opponent evades. Funny thing about this mastery, though, before we had a lot of evade counters in this game, I used to run 1 point in this mastery pretty much at all times. And it was for 2 reasons, actually. Number one, you know, evade champions, that was like the hardest thing to counter at one point in time in this game. And just having the ability to go unstoppable on occasion when the opponent evades, sometimes that was a real lifesaver. This helped me out, like fighting against Domino in war, for example. Saved my life having this unfazed mastery at times. And then also, on the flip side of things, I wanted my defenders to have this ability. And during the peak of like Blade and Stark Spidey usage in this game, when they kind of ruled the contest for a period of time, you know, when people were using Stark Spidey, if Stark Spidey evaded, sometimes your defender would go unstoppable. And there is nothing that can catch people off guard more than a champion that is not supposed to go unstoppable. There's no nodes, nothing in their ability descriptions to say they go unstoppable, but they would actually go unstoppable, and that would kill them, you know? And Stark Spidey, you can't always control when the evade happens. And then the other thing that makes this kind of crazy is it's just a chance for it to happen. So add another layer of unexpectedness when, you know, your champion evades 3 times and nothing ever happens, and then on your 4th time evading, the opponent goes unstoppable, and you're like, what the hell? And sure enough, yeah, it's this mastery. But nobody really runs it anymore because evade has largely gone away as a problem. As difficult of a node as it is to deal with, we just have champions these days that counter evade really well. Anyway, let's get back to looking at some of the totals here. So those were the most expensive ones, the class-based masteries, and then the you know, that whole bottom right tree in the offensive tree there. Oddly enough, some people think the suicide masteries are very expensive, and they are. But you actually only need 1 point in recoil, which this is showing the total cost of it. And then liquid courage and double edge, they're actually significantly cheaper than things like deep wounds and assassin. Some of the defensive masteries are very expensive. Resonate in particular, very, very expensive. This is another mastery that doesn't get used all the time, but in the right situation can actually be super powerful. And then actually in the proficiency tree, funny enough, the most expensive masteries are entirely useless. All the scouting masteries, all of these things are useless. The detection ones, Scouter Lens, totally useless. Was at one point in time like the highest value war talent available. And then you have things like Prosperity and Pittance that increase your gold. And these things are very expensive. You know, another reason why I wanted to look at all this stuff was actually just to try to get into the mindset of the developers and figure out, like, man, why is it that some of these masteries cost so much? And how come we need so many class mastery cores compared to the other cores? Like, let's start looking at some of the totals for this stuff. So you can see here the total units for the offensive tree. If you want to get every single mastery unlocked today, if you had absolutely nothing unlocked already, it's about 32,000 units. Defensive, significantly cheaper, but still quite the hefty price tag at almost 22,000 units. And then proficiencies is roughly the same as defense here at about 24,000 units. So then let's take a look at the total number of cores. So you can see it's 74 Stony Mastery cores, which comes to about 10,000 units. Again, if you don't have any discounts or anything like that, because there are ways to get discounts on this stuff if you have the sigil or something like that. For carb cores, it's 52 of these in total, and that'll run you nearly 30,000. That's a pretty good chunk of the amount of units they'd have to spend in total. Yet it doesn't even compare. Like, look how many class cores that we need here. 1,290. Whew. Wow, that's a lot of class mastery cores, which comes to a grand total of nearly 40,000 units. So this stuff is wild, man. This is again why I was trying to see, like, I want to get in the mindset of the developers, and the only conclusion that I can come to as to why the class mastery cores were needed so much more if you wanted to unlock the different masteries in comparison to the stony cores and carb cores and stuff like that, is just that whoever designed the system had no idea what they were doing. Now, there actually are a couple of little reasons. Number one, I have actually gotten a bunch of the class mastery cores in the daily events. So maybe the devs were thinking, oh yeah, we'll make it cost a lot to get these class cores, but we'll give out some of them for free. Also, like I said before, you can get them through loyalty. So maybe that's why there's such a steep number in comparison to the others. Once again, the unit cost, the cost just to unlock these masteries, it doubles each time, so it's actually not that bad to get to a decent level. And then maybe they wanted that final rank to just be that like super premium cost that very few people could get or something. I don't know, man. But it's kind of wild to think that, like, for the most part, these masteries are totally useless, and yet we need the highest number of cores, and in total it's the highest number of units to unlock. Well, let's get to the grand total here. The grand total units to unlock every single mastery is 77,290. Now, there are some masteries, I did not actually spend this number. There are some masteries that I have not fully unlocked. I'm going to show off all of them right now. There's not many of them, but let's hop back in game real quick. So everything in the offensive tree I've unlocked, every single point, even the things like maxing out recoil, which was really only ever used in like Legends runs. I've got 5 out of 5 pure skill. The only thing that's missing here is I only have 4 out of 5 of mutagenesis, but I actually have like 77 of the 80 cores that I need to unlock this. So, another 100 units and I could get that final point. I was just waiting to find those cores in the daily quests, and I haven't found them all just yet. Defensively, I have absolutely everything unlocked in this mastery tree. I have maxed out Collar Tech available. I've got maxed out Serum Science available. I have maxed out Suture, which this mastery is largely useless as well, because Coagulate's always going to be better than Suture, at least in 99.9% of situations, at least. I guess technically if you're up against a Void, you could save more health with Suture than you could Coagulate or something like that. Proficiencies, I have most of this stuff unlocked, even Intelligence. I think I unlocked this mastery when I was already level 60 or something like that. I don't know. I've unlocked Pittance. I've unlocked Prosperity. These masteries are so garbage, though. It's unreal how bad those masteries are. Of course, I have maxed out Mystic Dispersion. If you're seeing 5 out of 5 in it right now, this is the other class mastery that I don't have fully unlocked. But once again, I only need like 2 or 3 cores or something like that to unlock the 5th rank. Cosmic Awareness, by the way, total garbage mastery. It just reduces the effective armor up buffs when you're playing a Cosmic champion. The opponent's armor up buffs reduce. And it's like, wow, why would they give this to Cosmic Champions when Cosmic Champions armor break the opponent anyway? Complete garbage. Then I do have maxed out Scouter Lens, which I think I bought that as a joke, but whatever. Because it's pointless to have more than 1 point in that, pretty much. Then we come to the Scouting Masteries, and each one of these Scouting Masteries, you can see that points 2 and points 3, they are still locked for all 6 of them, because these masteries, once again, outside of having 1 point in them, pretty much useless. So, especially, I mean, by today's standards, they're 100% useless. But at one point in time, the way that Alliance War worked, it actually did help to scout ahead. So, technically, could make the argument that it might have been a good idea to have like more than 1 point in one of these masteries. I don't think I have more than 1 point in any of them, though, because I don't think I ever came across that situation. No, they all have 1 point, but I do have some spare cores for all the class types as well. So I don't know what that means for me in total of like how many units I've spent on the masteries, but I'm estimating that with the few cores that I have needed, especially in the detection classes, that I've probably spent about 70 out of the 77 total 1,000 units they would need to get all these masteries. Now there's one other little blank spot here that I have hidden, which I guess is not really that hidden. You can see the number up there, so we might as well reveal it now. It's 5,305. What is this number? Well, some of you may have noticed that there are some masteries here with a little asterisk next to them, and that's because I think these are the best masteries to unlock for new players. I figured some people might want to know this, so I've just put an asterisk down next to some of these masteries: Pierce, Precision, Cruelty, Salve, Recovery, Willpower, Stupefy, and Dexterity. If you're a new player, you know, if you invest 5,000 units, you can have a really solid mastery setup just by ensuring that you unlock those masteries. And from there, everything else is a bonus. Of course, some very powerful masteries. Some of these are absolutely worth the cost, and then some to unlock. You will feel the power difference. But if you're a newer player, save up your units as much as possible. This is the total unit number, and luckily you don't have to have all of this at once. You can unlock little things as you go. I actually recommend starting out with the proficiency ones, and then yeah, you can go from there. I do have guides on masteries. If you check out my channel for like beginner and intermediate masteries, but figured I'd include that in this video. In any case, that's going to do it. What do you guys think about this? I don't know if this was interesting to anyone but me, seeing all the values kind of laid out and realizing that, like, dude, it's we're almost going into like 100,000 units to get all these masteries and stuff. It's kind of wild, man. It's kind of wild to think about. And I guess that's why I have a lot more units today, is because, well, I haven't had to unlock a new mastery in years. I've had all these for a very long time now. So, but in any case, yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.